Hey guys, this is going to be a response to the ThePuppyTurtle's video titled 8 Questions for Atheists. Now, this isn't the typical questions for atheists kind of video in which usually it involves a lot of dishonest questions and straw men and so on. These are genuine questions that he wants to understand the atheist perspective on. Link is going to be in the crotch bar, and I recommend you all to watch this video and give it some thought, because some of the questions do require some thought. Now, I apologize in advance that I'm probably going to be either incoherent or I'm not going to formulate myself properly, because this is going to be unscripted. Obviously, I don't script any of my videos, but I feel that this should be scripted, because otherwise it's going to be kind of hard to answer these questions. Not that it's like really hard, but to get the concept across would be better if I do it in writing and then I read it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try to respond to them the best that I can. So first question is, I'm not going to quote the exact questions because he uses a lot of metaphors and stuff like that, so I'm just going to simplify them and read them out. Okay, the first question is, why would I do good to other people if I know that nobody's going to reward me for it? That's basically the question, from what I understood. So why do I do good things, or why do I want to help society or leave the world a better place after I die if I will not be rewarded for it? Well, to be honest, it's an emotion that I cannot control. Being good to others and helping out is, I think, something that's embedded in our biology. Apes also do the same thing. They don't really need a reward. They just naturally feel like helping others. I guess it has something to do with the survival instinct as helping the group as a whole. I don't really know why it feels so right for me to be good. It's obviously not objective morality, because my moral standards are made only by myself. But why do I feel like doing good even though nobody's gonna give me anything in return, and after I die it doesn't really matter that I did all these good things? Well, like I said, I can't control it. It's an emotion that's inside my biology. So, okay. Second question. If there was a government that was killing Christians for being Christian, and there was a resistance rebelling against this government, would I join them and risk my life to protect the right of others to disagree with me? Absolutely. I mean, I can't really say if I would risk my life, because I'm not really in that situation. But I mean, if all that matters is a decision, then yes. But it might be that when time comes for me to actually pick up a gun and fight for it, I might be a coward and not do it eventually. But because there's a lot of injustices that I don't really feel like violently fighting for. But if it would come to that, I think that it is highly likely that I would risk my life to fight against that kind of government that was killing Christians. Okay, question 4. If you somehow had irrefutable proof for the existence of the Christian God, would I destroy that evidence, or would I actually upload it to YouTube or so on? Now, he uses a metaphor like an orb, a hypothetical orb that contains evidence of God, of the Christian God's existence and Jesus' resurrection. Listen, if I had evidence for Jesus' resurrection, I would convert to Christianity and convert as many people as possible. Now, if you would actually leave it open and not say the Christian God, but God in general, my answer might have been different. I would still show everybody proof for God's existence, but I would not try to convert everybody. But since in Christianity, anybody who doesn't believe goes to hell, then obviously I would try to save as many people as possible. But that is only under the condition that I knew that Christianity is right and I had irrefutable evidence in my own hands. 5. Basically, it's the same question with the hypothetical orb, but with evidence that contradicts evolution 100%. Yes, I would do the same thing. I would upload that evidence to YouTube. I would send it to a peer-reviewed scientific journal so that they will spread it out. Okay, that's what I would do. I would debunk evolution in a heartbeat. Really, I really believe that truth is important, that how the world works and the universe works and all that kind of stuff is important for humanity to know. And if God exists or not is also something incredibly important for humanity to know. These are fundamental questions about our existence itself. So why would I, if I had the power to enlighten every single person on the planet, why the hell would I not do that? And by the way, I like in question 5, he didn't really say he used the example of a hypothetical orb, but he also said if he found evidence that refutes evolution, but he said a crocoduck, and I really liked that. I thought it was funny. Question 6. If I had a child and he would become a Christian, would this affect our relationship at all? Well, it depends. Now, I can kind of relate to this question because my sister is an Orthodox Jew and so is my father. And from time to time, the topic of religion or certain questions of faith and things about the Bible do come up in conversation. And I try to not bring them up because I know that these guys would be so distressed if they knew that God wasn't real that they might go insane. They might start really behaving oddly because my dad is, he's kind of young for a dad, but still, he's lived most of his life believing in God. And not only that, but believing in creationism, so, okay, I can kind of relate to this question, but, okay, if I had a child that would convert to Christianity, would it affect our relationship? Well, it depends. If he would keep it to himself, and by that I mean not try to convert me, that's fine. I wouldn't care less. I'm not going to have kids ever, but if I had hypothetical kids, then I would let them believe whatever the hell they want. I would give them arguments against it, or I would try to at least give them some skeptics. I would try to teach them some skepticism and teach them about logical fallacies and stuff like that. But I would let them come to their own conclusions. I hate indoctrination, and I will not do the same thing that I'm fighting against. Okay, but what would make his Christianity affect our relationship? If he would try to convert me, if he would try to fight against gay rights or abortion or stuff like that, then yes, it would affect our relationship. If all of a sudden my kid, let's say, becomes a Latter-day Saint and thinks that all black people are, evil and cursed by God and so on, then yeah, it would definitely affect our relationship. But otherwise, if he becomes, for example, a moderate Christian or even a creationist that doesn't try to push it onto other people, I would be fine. Question 7. How do you live your life knowing that after you die, you're gone? That's it. After you die, that's it. You don't exist anymore. Your existence is finite. Well, I made a video about this responding to Lasoyo. He said that this is a deal breaker for him, and that's why he will never become an atheist, because the idea that after you die, you cease to exist is just, you know, he just can't grasp this concept. But here's the thing. Everybody is afraid of dying. Surviving is part of being alive. Every living creature has a survival instinct that doesn't want them to even imagine dying. I mean, animals don't really imagine dying, but they have mechanisms that make them prevent their death as to the best of their ability. Now, why is that? Well, it's part of our survival instinct. So, I feel sorry for theists who believe in an afterlife because our survival instinct is so strong that they can't let it go even when it comes to reality. There is no afterlife. To me, it's clear as sunlight. There is no afterlife. So I have to deal with the fact that my existence is finite. I have to learn to cope with it. I'm not looking forward to dying anytime soon, at least, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to start believing in an afterlife just so I can, live in a fairy tale land where everything ends, happily ever after. Fuck that. I mean, you have to face reality. There is no afterlife. There's no proof for an afterlife. Nobody ever came back from the dead. There are no ghosts that talk to people and tell them how it was in heaven or hell. And, even if you're a Christian and you believe with all your heart that after you die, you're going to go to heaven or hell, that doesn't change the fact that you cannot be certain of this. It's still faith. Now, I don't like to bring up evidence arguments and stuff like that, but when it comes to this, then you know that it's reasonable to doubt something that nobody can ever prove to you. It's impossible to prove if there's an afterlife, if there's some kind of other realm that your soul goes to after you die. I mean, we also know that there's probably no soul. So, I mean, I can understand why fear of death can cause Christians to not really be able to grasp this idea of your finite existence, but what can you do about it? I mean, being an atheist forces you to think about it and accept it as truth and reality. That's it. So, how do I live my life knowing that my life is finite? I think I live my life better than Christians just because of this. Because I appreciate every moment of my life. I know that I bet that by now half my life is over. Okay? I'm 26 and a few months. About half my life is over. Maybe less, but it's likely that I might not live after 50 years old. People die at 50. Well, what can I do about it? I just need to enjoy every single moment of my life and do everything that I can to not let any moment go by without me being happy and enjoy it. While Christians depend on believing in an afterlife so that they don't really have any importance to enjoying life, because life is just, a short period out of your infinity in which your soul is going to exist in the afterlife. Now is just like not even a fraction of a millisecond of infinity that your soul is going to exist after you die. So, who cares if a little fraction of a second goes by without you enjoying it? Well, that's the kind of attitude that that I can't understand how you live your life like that. Question number 8. Your purpose in... okay. I think it's something similar to question number 7, in that, like, if... the question's about your purpose in life as an atheist. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera a little bit. 1 second. Okay, never mind. Basically, the question is, if you make your own purpose in life as an atheist, and when you die, it obviously doesn't matter anything you did in your life because now you're dead. Scientific advancements that you discovered are, you won't be able to enjoy them after you die. So, aren't these purposes as fake as living your life for the purpose of serving God or something like that? Isn't it as fake as believing in God? Isn't this purpose superficial and imaginary? Well, I'll tell you what my purpose is and you tell me. My purpose in life is to find scientific discoveries or to find out truths that nobody else has ever discovered before. It's like I'll try to give you an example of much lower magnitude, but it will give you an idea of what my purpose in life is and how it doesn't really matter to me if I die or not. If you're struggling with a really difficult problem or like a mathematical equation that you're really struggling with, and once you manage to crack it and figure it out, you have this amazing feeling of achievement. Okay? So, my goal in life is to become a scientist, or a theoretical physicist, to be more specific. And why? Because there's so much to be discovered in this field, and so little that we know, that everything that I discover is going to give me the same amazing feeling of accomplishment and achievement. It's not only that I want to better mankind's understanding about the universe, but also the moment that I understand something that is amazing. When I have a eureka moment, that for me is like experiencing 1,000,000 years in heaven. I'm not joking. So that's my purpose in life. And if I can benefit mankind in the process, then, all the better. Okay, I hope they answered these questions reasonably. One last thing. In question 8, you said that you feel kind of odd when you try to imagine a world without God, so you try not to think about it. But you are supposed to be a rational person. I already made a few video responses to you about rationality and stuff like that. You don't really tend to accept video responses from me for some reason. Anyway, you consider yourself a rational person. Even you being a Christian, oh, and I missed one question. I'll get to it in a second. Even you being a Christian, you must at least consider or imagine a world without God, just so that you can say that you're objective, just so that you can say that you're not biased, that you will change your mind if somehow evidence would present itself. But I think that if you don't even want to try to imagine a world without God, then not only are you being closed-minded, but you are shutting your eyes from reality. Now, not that I'm saying by this that God's non-existence is reality, even though I do believe it. But if God did not exist, you would still never want to know it. And that's where I find a problem with that. Now, I did miss a question, and it was question number 3. Why do I care about the beliefs of moderate Christians? and this is why I kind of struggled not to try to pwn you about this question. But you said, why do atheists have gazillions why do atheists have so many fucking conventions? Well, I think that why do atheists have so many conventions is kind of, you gotta be stupid to not really understand this. Why? Because most Christians are not moderate Christians, and atheists obviously have a lot more of a problem with fundamentalist Christians than they have with moderate Christians. But still, why do I care about the beliefs of moderate Christians? Because, like I said in one of the earlier questions, I value truth more than anything. I think that the quest for knowledge and knowing the truth about everything is the most important thing in the world, in the universe. I mean, being an evolutionismist, you know how unlikely it is for conscious thinking life to exist, and yet we are an exception to this. We broke we are the statistical anomaly. And I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm high right now, but so we are maybe the only beings in the entire universe that are able to observe the universe and learn about it. And should we waste this opportunity and not try to learn as much truth as possible? I mean, the world might be destroyed in 100 years from now, and by then, I hope that at least one generation of humanity is going to know the truth about everything. That is probably a dream of mine. So, if God exists or doesn't exist is a fundamental question. So, obviously, not that I have a problem with the beliefs of moderate Christians, but I do think that it's important to discuss these things. When you ask this question, it kind of sounded as if you're saying, like, why do you even care? Just you do your thing, we do our thing, and that's it. You believe what you want to believe, and we believe what we want to believe, and leave us alone. Now, that's the kind of attitude that will not accomplish any further understanding of things. Okay, so now we did finally answer all these questions. I'm sorry that the video took so long to make, but I guess that's it.